Happy New Year! We made it through 2019 and now we're on to 2020, but before we get too much further in 2020, we have to look backwards. We're looking at 2019 full-size and mid-size truck sales. We're going to see who won, who didn't win, what the surprises are, and we're going to get all of that right now. Hey, it's Tim Estrella, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and if you know this channel, you know my passion is trucks, SUVs. That's your passion too. Hit subscribe, click the bell, and smash the like button. We're talking trucks. Trucks are awesome. This year's gonna be a great year. I got a lot of cool content coming your way. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do I did a screen capture of the sales and I put them on a chart. You can go to pickuptrucktalk.com. I'll put the link down below and stare at the chart some more. And we'll go ahead and talk through the sales as I see them, and you guys can put the comments below on how you see them. And so let's go and get started on a screenshot I took and talk about these sales. All right, let's go ahead and get these. All right, let's go ahead and get to these sales results. I have them listed over here on pickuptrucktalk.com. You can go check out this post to go live when the video goes live. I have a chart where I put all the numbers together so you can look at, point at, argue, print out, share with your buddies, post on their walls, all that kind of stuff you want to do these days. But looking at Q4 sales, fourth quarter there of 2019, this is it. This is the final quarter of the year. We can finally see who won, we can see who lost, and see some big changes. So as we go down, we start with a full size. I like to separate full size and mid size, just makes some sense to me. Starting with full size, we have the Ford F-Series. It was up a little bit in the quarter, was down a little bit year to year, but another solid year. I mean, they trounced the nearest competitor Ram trucks here by almost 200,000 units, or actually 250,000 units there. And so Ram trucks had a really good year, up 7%, up 18%. If Ram can keep this momentum going and keep adding more capacity, we're going to see them challenge Ford eventually. But it ain't going to be anytime soon, I'll tell you that much. We have Chevy Silverado. Now, what's interesting with Chevy lately is they've been separating out the light duty from heavy duty. And I have another video I'm going to do about the Ford F-Series and whether the half-ton F-150 is the best line truck in America. So look for that in a little bit. I have that. I'm going to start working that out today and maybe publish today. It's a really interesting look, and I'm going to pull up some numbers here and show you what that is in the next video. But before we get to that, let's talk about Chevy Silverado. We have light duty was down 1.8%. and down 1% year over year. Overall was down 2.6%. So there's a couple factors there in play. Is that number one, it was a 40-day strike this year in the fourth quarter that really impacted their sales. You have that, plus you have a polarizing look to the front end. You have a polarizing look for the heavy duties, and so it's really going to impact overall sales, even though they're new trucks. And so we have this whole function versus form going on debate, and it's really playing out with Chevy sales currently. In the heavy-duty side, they're up 7.3, but they're down 7.5 year over year. So just kind of a mixed bag there. And the Sierra was also a mixed bag, although overall sales were up 5.8%, and the light-duty was up 8.3%. This kind of bodes well for GM's bottom line. If you know anything about GMC, you know that their average transaction price per truck is higher than Chevy. And so if you're looking at bottom line margin, how much profit you're making, GM had a better year if you look at from that viewpoint. If you look at what consumers are saying about the trucks, they have a bad year. Look at it from the labor standpoint, you have a bad quarter. I mean, it just depends how you want to break down the numbers. Rounding out the top full-size truck makers, you have Toyota Tundra. It had a fairly poor year, down 16%, down 5.6%. Toyota, I don't think really matters too much about this. They have a new truck in the works. They're making a bunch of changes in their truck plants and production, so they have a lot of stuff going on right now. And I just don't think they're caring too much about these numbers. And rounding out the barrel is Nissan Titan. They just had a horrendous year. Down 48%. They were down 47% quarter three as well. For the year, they're down 37%. I mean, this 6,000 unit, that's 3 months of sales for 6,000 units. Toyota beats them in 1 month versus their 6,000. And while I do quarterly sales results because that's the way the big three have gone, I can tell you that December, Nissan sold 1,000 Titans. Folks, it's hard to make a truck business work if you sell 1,000 trucks. I know they have a new truck coming. I know people are waiting for the new truck. New truck should be out in the first quarter of 2020. But that was just horrendous results. No other way to put it. Mid-size truck sales. We have quarter... Oh, I got a little typo. I will fix this. Quarter 4 versus quarter 3. Quarterly change. So we have Toyota... let me get my thing here. Toyota Tacoma dominated again. They had a fairly even year, which is pretty typical for Toyota, for the Tacoma. Production-wise, they just keep building as many as they can sell. I mean, that's kind of where they're at. Again, new plants coming online in the following years and some changes coming for Toyota. Ford Ranger finally had a good month, good quarter. They've been kind of battling down here the Jeep Gladiator, and they finally broke through. It looks like maybe some incentives, maybe something going on there. They finally had a good quarter, and they finally finished strong. I kind of decided to put them up here, even though the Colorado beat them year over year, just the way they had a good quarter, kind of the way I organized this chart. And you look at Colorado. Colorado had a poor quarter. That and the GMC Canyon had a poor quarter as well. That rounds off the pack. And combined, the Ford Ranger beat them, which is kind of interesting. And so looking at this, there's a new Colorado coming in a couple of years. They just invest like $1.4 billion in Buntsville. They're not giving up this segment at all. You're going to see some new changes coming out in 2021, and you'll see some changes with the new Colorado and Canyon. And there'll be new Canyon this year, new AT4 off-road versions. So they are, the Chevys and GM, I should say, GM trucks are really paying attention to this category. Nissan Titan was down 12%, but really who cares? Down 9.1%. I mean, this is all pure profit for Nissan. This truck has been paid for time over time again, and it's the smallest truck in the segment, and it's the most cost-effective truck in the segment. It's the cheapest truck you can buy, smallest and cheapest. So those sell pretty well, and they just had a pretty decent year. I mean, this has kept the line pretty decent versus the Titan. For comparison, the Jeep Gladiator, this is really interesting to me. They 16,000 units and rounded out the year at 40,000. Frankly, I think this is poor. I mean, for all the hoopla over the Jeep Gladiator, all the social media posts, all the comments I've heard about this, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of hoopla about this truck, but it really, on paper, and consumers are saying, it just isn't doing that well. I don't see how they're going to make a business going 16,000 units and keep this for multiple generations. That's just tough to pull off. Honda Ridgeline, Honda's only truck in the lineup. Well, truck, yes. Leave your comments below. Actually had a pretty good quarter. They're up 25%, up 9% year over year. So they've had pretty good growth with a truck that they really haven't updated much. I know next year we'll have a new 9-speed transmission, but they haven't really changed a whole lot with this truck, and it's done, well, pretty well. It's kind of surprising. And the GMC Canyon rounds off the numbers, and they had a pretty poor quarter and pretty poor overall. For the Canyon, it's tough to make the argument. The Denali is such an expensive midsize truck that there's just not much excitement there. The AT4 should help numbers a little bit, but I think for Canyon to take off, they really got to find their niche, their bread and butter. They're something that attracting customers. Their Halo truck. There we go. Whatever word I can't say this morning, we'll put that in there. There you go. There's the sales for 2019. That's kind of surprises. You know, the Chevy Silverado kind of fell back a little bit, but then how do you add the GM together with that? If you add GM with GMC, it's Chevy Silverado, and how does the labor dispute factor into that? You have the 40-day strike. I mean, there's so many variables, so many meaty stuff to dig into. But let me know, what are your thoughts? Go ahead and comment below. I'm curious to see what you guys think about the sales. You know, are you satisfied with who's still dominating? Do you think Ford's still the best truck in the land based on sales? Are you thinking Ram's up and coming? Where are you guys at with this? So go ahead and let me know below. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to us on the channel. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Under Pickup Truck Talk, type in those 3 words, Pickup Truck Talk. You'll find us. We're there. Trust me, I've done it. Lots of cool stuff going over there. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road.